37-year-old Rachel Turner was the kind of woman people remembered. She had an easy laugh, a warm smile, and the sort of energy that filled a room. Friends described her as brilliant, funny, and fiercely devoted to her teenage son, Ethan. By 2012, Rachel was thriving, a skilled computer programmer working as an analyst for West Corporation in Omaha, Nebraska. She commuted an hour each way from her small hometown of Macedonia, Iowa, population 400. Her life revolved around her work, her friends, and her son. Rachel had faced her share of challenges. She'd been diagnosed with bipolar disorder in her late 20s but managed it well with medication and support. She was stable, happy, and building a future she was proud of. Her tattoos, an Aztec sun on her shoulder, a yin-yang on her thigh, and a small Chinese symbol on her foot meaning mother, told the story of who she was and what mattered most. That same year, 35-year-old Mark Jensen, an auto mechanic from Omaha, was trying to rebuild his life. Recently separated from his longtime partner Amy Lawson, with whom he shared 2 children, Mark had moved into his own place and was ready to start fresh. He wasn't looking for anything serious. On a dating site, he met Lena Morris, a single mother who ran her own cleaning business. From the start, Mark was honest, he was dating other people. Lena claimed she understood, but deep down, she wanted more. She became possessive, constantly calling and texting him, watching his every move. In October 2012, a woman walked into Mark's auto shop needing repairs on her Ford Explorer. Her name was Rachel Turner. Mark couldn't help but notice her smart, confident, and beautiful. A few weeks later, he saw her profile on the same dating site. This time, he didn't hesitate to message her. They met for dinner in Omaha on October 29th. The chemistry was instant. During their date, Lena called and texted Mark repeatedly, interrupting the evening. When Mark and Rachel returned to his apartment, Lena suddenly appeared, claiming she needed to pick up her belongings. In the hallway, the 2 women crossed paths for less than 10 seconds. Neither said a word. But for Lena Morris, that brief encounter would become an obsession. Over the next 2 weeks, Rachel and Mark continued seeing each other. They weren't serious, but there was potential. For the first time, Mark began rethinking his rule against commitment. Then, Rachel's car was vandalized outside her home in Macedonia. Phone records would later show 6 anonymous calls made to her number that night, all from Lena. On November 12th, Rachel asked if she could stay at Mark's apartment for a week while finishing a major project at work. She arranged for her son to stay with her mother, Linda Turner, during that time. The next morning, Mark left for work around 7 a.m., kissing Rachel goodbye as she sat at her laptop. That was the last time anyone ever saw her alive. At 11 a.m., Mark received a strange text from Rachel's phone. She asked if they should move in together, a sudden leap that didn't sound like her. When he hesitated, another text followed, "Fine. I hate you. I'm seeing someone else. Don't ever talk to me again." By that evening, Rachel's belongings were gone from his apartment. 2 days later, her employer received a message from her number, saying she was quitting and recommending none other than Lena Morris as her replacement. That same day, Lena applied for the job. Soon, the messages began, thousands of them. Texts, emails, photos. "I'm watching you," one read. "How's that coffee taste?" another said, moments after Mark sat down at a diner. The messages became threatening, cruel, and invasive. When Rachel's mother reported her missing, police assumed she'd had a mental breakdown. They dismissed Linda's fears, citing Rachel's past bipolar diagnosis. But Linda knew better. Her daughter wouldn't abandon her son or her life. The texts from Rachel's phone were filled with misspellings, hateful rants, and language that simply wasn't hers. Weeks turned into months. Holidays passed, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays. Rachel never came home. Her bank account sat untouched. Her son, Ethan, tried messaging her on Facebook, asking questions only she would know. There was never an answer. Then, in January 2013, Mark spotted Rachel's Ford Explorer parked near his apartment. Police found only one fingerprint inside. It didn't match Rachel or anyone in the FBI database. Still, the case went nowhere. Over the next 2 years, the harassment consumed everyone connected to Rachel. Mark changed his number repeatedly, but the messages kept coming. His ex, Amy, began receiving threats too. Lena's house was set on fire, killing her pets. Emails claiming to be from Rachel took responsibility for the fire. A gun disappeared from Mark's apartment. Windows were smashed. It seemed no one was safe. By 2015, investigators Sergeant Jim Daly and Deputy Ryan Abbott from the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office decided to reopen the cold case. One tried to prove Rachel was alive. The other tried to prove she was dead. They quickly noticed that Rachel's bank accounts had been completely inactive for over 2 years, a red flag. Linda Turner provided them with a photograph of a check for $5,000 supposedly written by Rachel, signed by Lena Morris. It was the first undeniable link between the two women. Digital forensic expert Anthony Carter joined the investigation. He re-examined old phone data and uncovered what others had missed. Lena had been posing as Rachel, creating dozens of fake emails and social media accounts, sending herself threats to appear as another victim. She even used software to schedule texts while sitting beside Mark, ensuring she'd receive messages from Rachel at the same time he did. In December 2015, Lena voluntarily came to the sheriff's office, claiming she was being harassed. The next day, she shot herself in the leg, blaming Mark's ex-girlfriend. Investigators suspected the wound was self-inflicted, but they played along, asking her to gather evidence against the supposed attacker. Over the next year, Lena sent a series of fake confession emails, claiming responsibility for Rachel's murder. Those emails contained details that only the killer could have known, including Rachel's tattoo of a yin-yang on her thigh, a fact never made public. Investigators traced the emails directly to Lena's devices. Still, they needed more. Then Mark remembered an old tablet that Lena had used. In early 2017, forensic experts recovered deleted images from its memory card. Among them were photos of a woman's body, a tattooed foot with the same Chinese symbol that Rachel had on hers. A medical examiner confirmed the images were real. A new search of Rachel's vehicle uncovered blood soaked deep into the seat cushion. DNA confirmed it was hers, a match so precise that the odds of error were 1 in 100 billion. On December 22, 2016, 4 years after Rachel's disappearance, Lena Morris was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and second-degree arson. Her bail was set at $5 million. She waived her right to a jury trial, hoping to be judged quickly, before investigators could find a body. The trial began in May 2017. Forensic experts testified for days. Thousands of texts and emails were presented. The prosecution described a woman so consumed by jealousy that she killed her rival, then spent years impersonating her, crafting an elaborate illusion to keep suspicion away from herself. 14 days later, the judge delivered the verdict, guilty on all counts. Lena Morris was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus up to 20 years for arson. Rachel Turner's body was never found. But in that courtroom, her name was finally cleared. The woman who'd been branded a stalker was revealed as a victim of unimaginable cruelty. Her son, Ethan, went on to graduate from Iowa State University in 2021 with a degree in software engineering, following in his mother's footsteps. In her honor, local investigators established the Rachel Turner Memorial Scholarship Fund at Iowa Western Community College to support students in information technology. For nearly 4 years, the world believed Rachel Turner was a villain. The truth proved she was the victim of obsession, and the cruel mind of a woman who couldn't stand to lose.